you can hear me, just give me a little thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section that you can hear us. And I hope you're just in our premiere. Well, we're talking about really the 10 steps to ensure that you get to purchase your Ford. And really, this is advice for pretty much any manufacturer, but that's so you don't get completely robbed. Dealers, like any business, this isn't a dealer only. This is just human nature. You've got, unfortunately, sometimes situations where that you'll find yourself in that you're about as safe as, taking candy from a white van or accepting that free unmarked taxi ride from the airport. So you got to make sure that you get yourself protected. So I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, and well, this live is all about Ford Maverick, Ford Bronco, Ford F-150 Lightning, and Mach-E changes for 2023. So there are some really exciting changes coming up to the whole lineup, and we're going to start from, sorry y'all, I'm going to start with the least exciting changes. So we'll talk a little bit about colors. Then we're going to be talking about some major changes that are really exciting. And then we'll see if we've got a lot of questions coming in. Well, we'll start answering questions because we do want to have this wrapped up for, we're always there for Tim Bartz's weekly show. We absolutely love that show. So we don't want to miss it at 8 o'clock. But if there is time and there's not too many questions, well, then I'm going to be talking all about Ford Maverick, Mach-E, and maybe even just a little bit of Broncos, talking about, wait times, because, well, locally we've had a lot of Mach-E's arrive just recently, 7 or 8 of them. We've had, 4 or 5 Mavericks just pop up, and I find it very interesting to see how were they built, what's on those orders, as well as, and I'm sorry, Marie's smiling right now because you've got Winston here who's kind of distracting her. He just jumped in. So we've got our real co-host, Winston. Really, he runs the show. You're all here probably just for him, not to hear about Mavericks. We're in no hurry to hear about Mavericks, am I right? Okay, so let's talk about Mavericks. I said I'd start off with colors. So changes to the Bronco and the Maverick. So colors thus far. You can read this up on Ford Authority. And when I do lives, I don't yet have the capacity to throw in photos. But you can go online basically and check these colors out. A big one for the Bronco that I'm really excited about, the big Bronco, is that antimatter blue metallic is back. Now, we love it on the Bronco. We had seen it on a King Ranch and we're like, that's black. But then we saw it at Bronco Off Rodeo and said, oh, that's incredible. So I know it's supposed to be the same formula, but sometimes I don't know what it is. I don't have an explanation for this one, but antimatter blue metallic looks absolutely amazing on a Bronco. So that's an awesome one to come back. I've said it in videos before. I hope it comes back, and I've also mentioned that I hope they don't get rid of eruption green metallic. So great news, 2023 Ford Bronco. We've got eruption green metallic. We've got hot pepper red metallic, tinted clear coat. That is the longest name. Ford, please change the name. Keep modify the formula by 1%, change the name so you can say it's a new color, but basically keep the same color. We were not fans until we saw it live on a Bronco, and we were both very impressed. And our rapid red metallic, which was one of our original, couldn't decide on the Bronco color, that was right on that list. So glad that hasn't gone away. We've got Velocity blue metallic, which might be leaving the Maverick, but is definitely on the Bronco. Now for the F-150 2022, the F-150, they cut that color back in 2022, so I was expecting it to be cut back on the Maverick, but we'll get to that news. That's a little iffy and up in the air because these aren't official. Well, it's official when it's with the order guide, which right now there's really only the F-150 that the order guide is out for. We got Shadow Black, Azure Gray Metallic. Now, Marie, you're really good with designing colors. Do you have any, help us out. Do you have any idea what that is?
I could say it's a little bit like a charcoal gray, but at the same time, I see the carbonized gray, and the azure gray. So I guess the azure has a little more, a little bit of blue touch.
Oh, it's blue touch? That's not green touch? Well, that's why I'm asking.
I know you don't see the color, right? Yeah, no, it's almost like the carbonate gray metallic. So it's a dark gray, but this one has a little touch of blue in it, I guess.
And I can't recall at any point having a color from Ford called Azure Gray Metallic, so I have nothing to reference from.
But I will be happy to see that
Looks nice, eh?
on the real color, yeah, to check what it looks like in real, because it's a pretty color, I guess.
Yep. And a lot of these colors, it might actually be darker because you see the antimatter blue metallic on the website always looked lighter than it actually is. So on these little paint
Like
chips,
a jeans color, but in real it's more darker. So it's this one, the azure, that we talk about.
yeah, an antimatter blue is right
Yeah.
there. As you can see, it actually looks lighter than in real life. And I'd say go to a dealer and check these colors out on other models, but that these days at least the orders are finally starting to come in at a decent pace. And we might get to talking about that in today's live. If not, we can always save it for another. But some surprising information I can tease Marie about in all of that, because your Lux Pack Hybrid compared to other things, it's wild. The batteries are obviously, I've speculated this since last September that the batteries were an issue, getting enough quality batteries. So I've got a data to show that that's probably the case. So we've got iconic silver metallic. So that's the silver that's on current, Lincoln Aviators. They might have that in stock nearby. So that's a great color. Check it out. Carbonized gray metallic. So that's not the new antimatter gray that you see on our Mustang, which the joke with me and the boys is we like to call that light black because it does look black at times, and at other times when the sun hits it, it looks gray. I was hoping that color would come to the Bronco, but it's not coming to the Bronco. Cactus gray is here to stay. That's awesome. I love our cactus gray Bronco color. Marie, I think she'd probably go for something else, but that's
fine. But for that kind of car, I really love the color that pops.
Yeah, you want it to flash.
Like everybody knows.
I want anything that kind of looks somewhat army, even though cactus gray, I'd say that's more like a heck, if I could have it like a Desert Storm color, name the color Desert Storm, but then anyways, that will offend some people. So Ford's got to work on not offending people and calling something, let's say, Warthog. And you've got Race Red, that's here to stay. Race Red, I've had photos up of that recently on the channel. Not a bad color. It pops, to each their own. And Oxford White is staying. Now, is there a question I should definitely answer before getting the Maverick colors?
People write a lot in the chat, so I'm looking at that. So you can continue, and I will check if we have questions.
Great. And Charles, thank you very much for dropping your intel. Always really good to have intel dropped. I can't read the comments. Marie's here to do that role on the channel and also help me out clearly with colors. So the Maverick, 2023 Maverick. This is a great one, and you can check this out at a local dealer, probably somewhere near you, because dealers, some have inventory of Bronco Sports, and my local dealership must have about 5 Bronco Sports available right now. All Terrain Nation, thank you very much for that $5 donation. Surprising, since you always like odd numbers, so I'd expect like 498, but thank you very much. David and Kelly have a great show over at All Terrain Nation, and David's health still allows him to drink, whereas I've had to give up the scotch, but that's a great place to hang out, and I often like to get in. I just have to resist. Tonight I'm just having sparkling pressurized carbonized water with lemon, so I've been drinking that, trying to be healthy here. Now for Maverick colors, we've got Atlas Blue Metallic. Fantastic. You can see it on the Bronco Sport. Atlas Blue Metallic. You'll see that on F-150s. It's a fantastic color. And if I recall correctly, it originally started off Atlas Blue Metallic. That started off on the Explorer ST and was an exclusive color for 1 year just to the Explorer. Looks great. Absolutely love it. You've got Avalanche Gray, which, I've been asking myself, how different is that from Cactus Gray? Well, avalanches are kind of like dirty snow, and what I'm thinking we're actually going to see is we're probably going to see kind of like a white that has a lot of gray in it. It is a little lighter than Cactus Gray. Cactus Gray has green in it, and the Avalanche Gray is a white with a lot of gray. So you could call that a light gray. No green in it, so if you don't like Cactus Gray for the green that's in it, there's going to be a color for you. Hot Pepper Red Metallic Tinted Clear Coat. something or another. That's there. Looks great on a Bronco. Should look well. I see. Yeah, it looks great on a Maverick. Shadow black, iconic silver metallic. Once again, you can see F-150s, Super Duties, Lincoln Aviators with this color. Great silver. Not just your regular old boring silver from the 2003 Camry and Taurus and whatnot. Mind you, most Tauruses I think were sold beige. No rush for that to come back. Area 51. Area 51 is a very popular color. That's what you picked.
Yeah, for my Maverick.
Yep. Alto blue. So I was talking about the Bronco Sport, and I'm so sorry. Alto, Atlas. Sometimes the brain's just a little slow. Alto blue metallic tinted clear coat. That's on the Bronco Sport currently, and it looks amazing. If you find antimatter blue too dark, go with Alto blue metallic. You'll absolutely love it. It's kind of like a light antimatter. Even considered painting the Toyota MR2 turbo 99. What is that, a 91?
91.
I have too many vehicle registrations hanging around my wallet, so it gets all jumbled in the head, and I've had 70 some vehicles, so my apologies. Carbonized gray metallic. Would have been happy just to mix things up if they would have had antimatter gray from our Mustang, if that would have been brought to the Maverick, and cactus gray. So it's been very popular. Cyber orange metallic. Ford, I've asked you before, and I'll ask again. Please just call this yellow. Change the name, change the formula by 1%. Call it yellow stone, yellow rock, yellow anything. Just don't call it yellow school bus. But when you park beside a school bus, you realize this isn't orange. But anyways, Oxford white. I hopefully haven't offended anyone over at Ford who names these vehicles. But what can you do? Are there any
we have
questions?
one. A question from Charles. He said he spoke to a dealership today, and he stated that they will only be able to get that much hybrid Mavericks per month. So he said that people will have to wait even longer. Have you heard this as well? So I guess, yes, you already spoke about that.
Yeah, so on the last premiere, I was just mentioning how important there's, 10 steps you really need to make sure that occur. Because now, even in Canada, because Canada, yes, as friendly and as nice as we can be, we're USA light. We're the light beer, I guess, of countries. And we're very similar to the United States, but a lighter version. And dealerships were cheating the system and selling over MSRP, and that's been going on. So Ford has now instituted the COVP system, customer order verification process, into our system as well. So we've got a whole bunch of things to prove. Basically, you're either going to fall into that system because your dealer knows what they're doing and they do it, or they don't know what they're doing and they don't fill it out because they don't want to learn something new. They're an old dog that doesn't want. Well, Winston still learns new tricks. I was teaching him to roll over and get his belly scratched today. But so let's not insult dogs. Some dealers can't learn new tricks, so you got to make sure that your dealer puts you on the right list. Because yes, some dealers will get less allotments because Ford is going to really be focusing on building things that have actual dates and have proof that they come from an actual client, that it's not just the dealership, making up a client. And Ford, of course, will continue to, if you lose more than a certain percentage, in the States, it's 25%. In Canada, we were warned, don't lose more than 10%. But that's a different story that I won't get into right now. But basically, Ford definitely will refuse assigning allotments to certain dealerships for an entire month, and those allotments will go somewhere else. Now, also, some dealers get less allotments than other dealers, but the real important thing, it's not about you should order from a small dealership or a big dealership. It's just about the ratio between how many come in versus how many they have on the waiting list. And that's why, if I get to talking about, Broncos and Mavericks that have come in, it really does illustrate that you can have one Bronco at one dealership be, a year and a half, 2 year wait. And whereas at another dealership, it can get built and delivered in 8 months. And, something that could take a year somewhere else, like a more simpler Bronco, taking a year, 14 months somewhere else, can take 4 months at a different dealership. So it's all about how many allotments they get, and dealerships that do the proper COVP process are going to be getting a whole lot more allotments than dealers that just say, you know what, we'll just leave it, we'll have it, everyone will get treated the same, it won't affect us if we just put it in the way we always have. We don't want to do extra work. It'll all work out. It won't work out. They absolutely need to do the COVP because Ford is going to be focusing a good percentage of the production to getting people in that they know exist and that they know have been waiting. So very important. I'll just basically say, watch the premiere I just did, take a few notes, take all the notes, and then just phone into a dealership. You might not even want to waste your time doing it. Talk to a salesman, say, look, I'm a very serious buyer. I will buy. However, I have a few questions and I need to know that I'm buying safely to move forward with you. But if these things can be fulfilled, I will definitely buy a vehicle. Well, then you kind of have their attention. You're saying, look, I'm promising you business, but these are my conditions. It's the new negotiation behind getting a vehicle. Basically, you're shopping your dealership and not shopping price anymore.
Perfect. We have another question that goes in the same way. Just before, Dick Marshall said, hi, Mary, thanks for keeping Johnny in line.
Oh, sorry. I was reading one of the questions that only pop up for like 4 seconds.
Yeah, so he has a question. He wants to know, what's the trick to get my dealer to sign my order sheet if they are reluctant to do so? Any key phrase to use?
Yeah, that's like back in the day when you tell a dealership, well, I'll buy it if you throw in winter tires, and they just said no. Well, the solution back then was just to go to a different dealership. So the problem is if the dealership refuses to sign your order, now I can understand if you've ordered after the sold out status on a model, they don't want to sign that 2022 price because technically and legally they're telling you, look, I'm going to provide you a Maverick, Bronco, Lightning at that price. I can understand that they wouldn't want to sign that because that can be incredibly unfair to them. But in that situation, they should at least sign that they promise, minimum condition, they promise to sell at the internet price that is available the month your vehicle comes in. And that's why, there's an order to my 10 steps, and that sort of goes from very general to, not having it be very problematic to them, to more specific to try to get, by step 10, you're, working out the best deal for you. And then it's for you to decide. Personally, I just went through this trying to get an Everglades. At first, went from laughing at me, and I was like, why are you laughing? I'm just asking if your advertised price that you chose to put on the internet, if you will actually sell the vehicle at that price. And then from there, they're like, oh, yeah, okay. And got into it, and I ended up getting a sheet that has a monthly, it has an interest rate. So that is locked in. Only one thing is I did this over the phone and through the internet. I don't have a signature. I'm also totally happy with our current Bronco. If someone else gets that Everglades, I'm willing, if they try to go over MSRP, I will be one of the people that say I'm not getting into that for a vehicle I've waited for, and someone else can have it. Whatever. I don't want to encourage this over MSRP scenario unless, there's one vehicle on the lot. In that case, maybe it should go to the highest buyer. But when I've waited for a vehicle that my name's on, that's a whole different story. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I'll leave those questions for the previous video. Focus in on this whole, lightning double rainbow thumbnail that I've thrown down because I want to share some positive news for many and some news that will tease Marie for some. Now I've got this right here. For the lightning, actually, before we get to the double rainbow, we'll talk about the storm before the rainbow because I do see I have time to do all this. The storm before the rainbow. I saw this coming. I was talking about different battery technologies going all the way back to last June 2021. I knew Ford was working on lithium iron batteries. So this is what's going on right now. And it's kind of big news because how I see it is the Lightning and the Mach-E are going to have less autonomy. Now, the Lightning, it's going to happen in 2024. And for the Mach-E, probably going to start affecting the standard range battery in 2023. So I just want to get to my notes here. Marie, in the meantime, I don't know if there's a question that absolutely you just want to note.
It's about the Maverick, so maybe I will let you go with the Lightning and we'll switch for the Maverick after.
Okay, great. Thank you. So going through some notes that I had from
He
questions
has
from
so
people.
many.
So many.
He does the research.
So many notes. So I'll just get this. This is from, should be in my downloads. I lost it because I hadn't used the phone here in enough time. But here we go. We've got it right here. So basically, lithium, iron phosphate batteries, they're going to be affecting the standard range batteries. And this is so that there's a lot of positivity here. This is so that one, Ford can actually, we're all clamoring to have more vehicles, to the point that some people are like, I'm really frustrated. I can pick up a Dodge Ram 1500 right off a lot. People are starting to be able to buy GMC trucks straight off the lot. So people will not always realize that, hey, a Corvette's a 2-year wait. A Porsche is a 911 is a 3-year wait. A RAV4 Prime is now, when I talk to people who are on the inside, it's a 5-year wait. And most hybrids from Toyota are over 2 years. And Kia and Hyundai are looking at, depending on the model, 1.5 to 3 years for their hybrids and electrics. So that aside, Ford does want to find a solution. So this is what they're doing. The storm part, I can say, is less autonomy. Now, the really positive part about all of this is that these batteries will, if you're constantly plugging them in and going from, let's say, 90 to 100% on a lithium ion battery, that's very bad. It's very hard on the battery. It's going to affect its long-term durability. It could even affect its reliability. It's hard on the batteries. So with these new batteries, less autonomy, but you'll be able to charge them up right up to 100%. You'll also be able to fast charge, very likely be able to fast charge. Right now, lithium ion, you're on the 150 kilowatt and you plug it in, and at 80%, it's just going to cut that down to 32 or less. Now with lithium iron phosphate, you'll have a high charge capacity above 80%. The batteries are going to be more durable and more rugged. They're going to be more built for tough. The other good news in all of this is currently Ford is using those batteries on Mach-E's in China. And, well, the company that provides these batteries are looking to establish a plant in Mexico or the US. I think it'd be great if they could establish it in the US. The Mach-E is already assembled in Mexico, so why not have new jobs come to the US for the batteries? A nice little sharing of employment. I think that's extremely important. It's part of, when I purchase a vehicle, it's a big part of my decision-making process. Now, Ford, we talked about demand. Well, here's the demand. Right now, they have the goal of 270,000 units for the Mach-E for 2023, and 150,000 units of the F-150 Lightning for 2023. But by 2026, they want to be making, if I recall, it was 2 million electric vehicles by 2026. So they really have to wrap up production, and the lithium iron phosphate battery is really going to help them out with that. Now, if you go over to Ford Authority, they've got a whole article on this, and you can read more about it. The only thing that I really don't like about the Ford Authority article, and it's rare, I love Ford Authority, but they had a photo slip in, and it's a Mach-E pulling a boat. Now, I don't know what kind of boat this is. Maybe it has some sort of special hull, but it almost looks like what would probably be a 700-pound, 800-pound trailer and over 1,000-pound boat. And maybe because of special construction, this is a 1,500-pound setup, but it's only in Europe that a Mach-E can pull 1,500 pounds, and here it's 0. And I still wouldn't recommend, if I was in Europe, I wouldn't be pulling 1,500 pounds on this transmission. So that's that. Look, by the end of 2023, Ford wants to be able to build 600,000 EVs. So they've got to find a way to really kick it up. And anyways, more durability, more reliability, and better charging over 80%, I think are all positive points. But if we find out that at some point in 2023, our standard range Mach-E's come, instead of right now with the 70 kilowatt battery, instead of about on average between, rear wheel drive and all wheel drive, let's say we put it at an average of 370 kilometers. that gets cut down by 50 kilometers, I'd expect it to get cut down by 50 kilometers or maybe even as much as 80 or 90 kilometers. But for exact specifications, which these are not, this is pure speculation. We'll have to wait and see. The lithium iron phosphate batteries are less dense.
Perfect. Questions?
Yeah.
Okay. We had one. They are asking if you know the impact on the miles per gallon because of the recall fix. I guess it was on the Maverick it was asked.
Fantastic question. A video I just covered recently for the recall and this is hybrid Mavericks only. There were 7 either fire or smoke situations. And this is when there's complete engine failure. So the crank has to fail. It has to basically, obviously it must be the crankcase that gets cracked. Oil would go into that pan, and well, the pan was really good at holding everything there. Not, I guess, really with wind and whatnot, it was doing its job, but it wasn't letting anything out. So the oil could build up there. If it got too hot, create vapors, and those vapors could catch fire, or the oil could start smoking. Not great. So solution, engine shield, 2 holes. Very simple. And engine lat removed. I don't have the exact numbers on fuel economy, miles per gallon effect. I do know that active grille shutters do help with fuel economy in a small manner. So if I had to guess, I'd say this is something that's probably affecting fuel economy by maybe 0.3 of a liter per 100 kilometers, but the only thing I can do is test it, and I am waiting for the local dealer's demo. If it gets this recall and it gets its lats and holes modification, I am going to go out and test it. And I am very curious because I'm going to have something like 10,000 kilometers of its average prior. And then I'm going to be able to, trip 1, trip 2, reset trip 2, and then really find out what the real deal behind that is. So I'll keep you all informed. I look forward to sharing, geeking out on some numbers with y'all.
Yeah, it could be impressive to know. Perfect. And another one about the Maverick. Somebody just got his Maverick and wants to know if he should install a splash guard. What do you think about it?
Maverick splash guard. Now, if by splash guard, we're talking about what we call up here, because we have a lot of mud and slush, we call them mud guards or mud flaps. The bottom of the Maverick is plastic. So for the most part, it's not really necessary. I would still get them because that plastic on the bottom of the vehicle is not going to protect against all of it. So yeah, I would definitely get it unless I would be regularly taking that into the woods and getting wood. Now, our fireplace seems to constantly blow smoke into the house. So I've been a light ban. Yeah, I can do what I want, kind of. But it's a bit of a light ban for not having fires because every time we do, the whole basement gets smoked out. So basically we have to, if we do have a fire, it's like an hour before guests leave because we know at a certain point, they're gonna be like, why does your house smell like it's on fire? So that's that. So I will not be taking her Maverick into the woods. So I'm sure she's happy about that. And with front wheel drive and the woods at my parents' place, it's in the mountains, it's pretty wild. So I would have probably gotten it stuck anyways. We'll leave that for if ever we get an Everglades because I'll have a winch and that's really the way to go. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm wearing this shirt and I think it's really cool because it has a lot to do with current news. There was pretty high up at Ford standing in front of a silhouette, blue silhouette, talking about EVs, and the silhouette was of a Bronco. It's obviously a Bronco because, and this is related to changes coming to the Bronco. You know, the CEO, Jim Farley, did say pretty much almost all icons will be electrified. And electrified doesn't mean 100% electric. It means hybrid, plug-in, or, HEV, PHEV for plug-in, the P's for plug-in, or all electric. But, you see a head at Ford posing in front of, you see the tire back here. And I'll show that a little closer because I can't pop things up on the screen, because the image off my phone is way better than my laptop, and it's an expensive laptop, so very disappointing from HP's webcam. Don't sue me, I'm just telling the truth. And so we're getting a plug-in Bronco at some point, and I'm 99. I'm very confident. I don't have proof yet, but I'm very confident we're going to get a plug-in Bronco, and I am absolutely going to love it. What we do know, and I didn't put it in the title, but the Ranger. I only have a certain amount of characters to throw into a title. But the Ranger, you've got Volkswagen high up, high up over at Volkswagen. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Lars something or another, if I recall correctly. But he let it leak that they're disappointed in, because the Amarok at Volkswagen and the Ranger share the same platform. He was saying that he was disappointed in the autonomy off of, the plug-in Amarok Ranger. So that was a big slip, whether it's deliberate or not. It created some buzz for me because my dream vehicle is a plug-in Bronco. Go to work, come back. 99% of its life, it's going to be 100% electric. And if I want to drive it to Florida, then I can. I love Florida. Please have me back soon. I'm a huge, I love vacationing in the US, and if the US would give me a green card or citizenship, I would probably move. Sorry, Canada. I hope I don't get kicked out of my country for that comment. Now, so plug-in. If you're going to have a plug-in Ranger, it's probably going to be on a 2.3 liter. And I recently tried out the 2.3 liter Bronco, was incredibly, incredibly impressed with automatic. My shifting skills make it so that the manual 2.3 liter is slow. And it's my shifting skills, I realize. But the 10-speed shifts so quickly, so smoothly, that it does help the 2.3 liter feel pretty powerful. And you know what is it? 315 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque? Heck, an 80s and early 90s Corvette would have been, thrilled to have those numbers. So I'm not going to cough at those numbers. With the 10-speed transmission that we also love in the Mustang, shifts super smooth, super quickly. And the Mustang, I can't believe the 2022, how intelligent that transmission is. It reads my brain and knows I want it to stay in fifth gear, because it's like it knows I want to pass someone. So I don't know if Big Brother is in that camera somewhere and in those sensors, but it feels like it really knows what's going on, and it knows that I'm going to want to go quick again. So loving how that transmission works. I'm a huge fan of the 10-speed. I can feel you've got a question for me.
No, we don't have a question. I'm just looking at the. Thank you everybody to comment tonight. I see many people says I received my car, so that's great news for all of you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I love when people comment on the channel. Good news. I love it, because it also helps me be more comfortable bringing out the bad news, because it can't all be good news, but often the bad news is really over, way over. How do you say? I'm looking for English words. We speak French at home, and then when I look
at the best.
Yeah, I'm looking for her to help me find English words. But I've been speaking French now for 7 years at home, so I'm losing a bit of my English. But basically, often big media really over exaggerates problems, and they don't like to compare. You won't hear big media be like, oh, well, at some Bronco dealerships, Broncos are 2-year wait, but this is what the dealer did. No, they're like, hey, you should read this article because Ford is evil. And that's, next at 7 o'clock on the news, there's a police car chase that, watch this, or, you might die from margarine. Those kind of headlines are the news headlines. And I like to just, I'm not a complete sold out fanboy that is unreasonable. I actually try to just be fair and reasonable. And I hope that's something that goes over well with the community here, because I do cover Ford products, because I have access to Ford information, I have access to Ford products, and I have access to enough Ford information. And there's so much wrong information out there that I kind of feel like, as much as I'd love, we just had Veloster N at the dealership. I wanted to do a video on it, but bad Ford news, incorrect Ford news kept coming out. I was like, I gotta correct this. I have to make a video on how to shop your Ford, and I don't get to do the reviews. I've had in my, in my system, I've had a Tundra review that I actually did. I filmed the whole Tundra review. I've got 2 different Jeep reviews. And those are vehicles I would have loved to put out a review on. I've got like 5-6 MR2 videos, but I got to keep up. I feel like I've got a duty to get the information right when it comes to Ford, because I feel that the media coverage isn't always fair.
Another good news. Jason says that his dealer refused to increase the sticker price, which is great. Yeah, totally. So that's another good news.
That is
Like you
fantastic.
said, we have so much bad news that this one, yeah, some
Now,
good dealer are still there.
now, if you're looking at an F-150 Lightning, do realize that I like to, I like to be fair with the news. I'm not going to tell you go buy a Lightning because it's a 6 month wait. At most dealerships, it's probably a year and a half to 2 year wait. And in Canada, the COVP system hasn't hit the Lightning yet, but it will. If your dealership, you know, does put you through the COVP, then who knows? Maybe you could get one sooner. But I like to sort of say that it's about a year and a half to 2 year wait for Lightning. And of course, it goes back to the age old question that I've said way back when: ask your dealer, how many allocations do you get roughly per year? How many do you expect to get for 2023? And how many are on your waiting list? If they say we plan on getting 10 2023 Lightnings and they've got a waiting list of 150, maybe you should shop another dealership unless you're willing to wait and you've got an amazing relationship with that dealership. But if you can get another dealership that's going to say, like, we plan on getting 50 and we have 120 on the list, well, that's actually pretty reasonable. Now, there's a few things I want to mention. Really cool. Ford is working hard for changes for 2023. And one of those changes is more fairness, not relying on the dealer to be fair. There's even been dealers that offer a price to move up on their list. But here's something to know: dealer priority requests. If a dealer asks that the Bronco, the Explorer, the F-150, the F-150 Lightning, the Mach-E, and the Maverick Hybrid, if they ask that, date gets ignored and that they move something forward, the answer from Ford is don't even bother asking us. And it says, please do not contact your scheduler with requests to prioritize the following. It's like, don't bother with us with this. We're going by date. Too bad, so sad if you want to move someone out of the list. That used to be a process because some people were not in a hurry and other people, it was like an emergency to get a vehicle as soon as possible because of, very understandable life circumstances. Well, some dealers ruin it for everyone. And that's true. That's true of any business, any profession. There's always some people, there's fantastic. Now, we've never had any trouble with transporters, with long haulers. They've always been great on the highway to us, and they do keep our society running. So thank you very much to the long haulers. Well, really anyone in the transport business, but we've never had trouble with them. But I'll use a different profession. There's amazing police officers that give up everything, their time, their heart, their patience, everything to take care of people. And well, there are some bad police officers, and it's true of any profession. So that's that. And I do want to mention, I'll probably cover some of this in another live. Hopefully I'll see you all there because I see it's 53. So I've got to get ready for, I want to make sure that I make Tim's show. And usually Tuesday nights, I don't get to do these lives because usually I always work from about 8:30, 9 in the morning to about, I get home 8:30, 9:30 at night, and then eat supper. So I'm usually in various different places and stages listening to the show and occasionally typing in if I'm not driving. But really cool news is last week there was a lot of models that got scheduled, so you can check to see if you were scheduled last week. This week, don't stress about it. There's a whole lot of vehicles not getting scheduled. So Bronco, Econoline, Edge, Escape, Explorer, medium truck, which I believe is Ranger, Mustang, sorry, it's not, because Mustang, Ranger, Transit, Transit Connect Van, Transit Connect Wagon, Aviator, Corsair, Nautilus, all not getting scheduled. Basically, if you've ordered an F-150, a Super Duty, a Bronco Sport, an Expedition, Mach-E, Maverick, and Navigator, there'll be limited scheduling, so you can check to see if you've been scheduled. A lot of us are all Maverick orders, so I'll be checking this week, but I already know I'm 99.9% confident that our July 17th Lux will be moved forward, and that's what I didn't get to tonight, and I don't have time to cover it, I don't believe, but all those vehicles that have come in, I've got dates for them, and I also have photos, so maybe that's actually best not covered in a live, because I do like to share photos to really show you, like, this is this, look at how it's built, and this is how much time it took in. But I will tease her just the same, because you're here this time, and I don't know if I'll get to have you on the next show. So honey, Lariat, EcoBoost, all-wheel drive with Lux package. Now that's a very complicated build.
Yeah.
How long do you think that would take to get built?
Okay, because it's an EcoBoost, it will be faster than mine. First
Wow.
thing.
Yeah.
But it's a Lariat with a Lux package. I don't know. That's a good question.
So I'll
But
show.
few months.
Yeah. I'll show it on photos in a video. I'll make sure that I've got to focus on this as much as I want to review vehicles. We've got a blue Lariat all-wheel drive with luxury package and 400-watt converter. That was ordered March 9th, 2022. It was scheduled April 24th, so a month and a half later,
What?
and to get a May 30th build. May 20th came up by, and on May 20th, it was pushed to June 7th. It was actually started to get built on June 7th, and on the 16th, it was declared produced because, well, on the 15th, it was waiting to go into trim line. So, June 22nd, it shipped from Ramp 54. And then July 8th, arrived in Montreal, sat in Montreal until the 22nd, where it just recently showed up. So, isn't that wild?
So my Lux package is not the problem.
I've always said that.
You asked me, do you want to keep it or we can lose it? But it's not a problem.
It is a problem, but the batteries are much more of a problem. Yeah. But here's an example. Blue hybrid XLT with hitch. Standard. XLT hybrid. Nothing complicated. October 20th. So I can't count, and I don't know how many months are between July 17th and October 20th. Just a joke. But that's a bunch of months. So you can see right there, August, September, October, I do need to use my fingers. So 3 months and 3 days. And that's basically what your Lariat package is costing you thus far. But we both know that you're probably going to get built like very end of October, first week of November, because that's just where it's going to be. So I've been saying in videos about delays that luxury package basically add 3-4 months. I'll stand by that. And then the big differences between hybrid and EcoBoost. So if you order an EcoBoost right now from a dealership that does not have a huge waiting line, well, March 9th wasn't that long ago. What is that?
And you say you got a build date in April, so that's
nothing.
Third
month to the seventh month, it's 4 months.
Yeah.
So quick.
Very quick.
With Lariat, now I know there's been a lot of frustration, and people will go, how dare they? How could they use a Lux package that could have gone to her hybrid? How could they use that on some EcoBoost? Well, it's because they don't have the battery to build hers. And I've speculated since last August or September that batteries would be an issue. They had been an issue on the Escape. So if they don't have the battery, what's the point of putting a luxury package into a battery, a hybrid that doesn't have a battery, and then just have it sit outside for, all winter, let's say. Mexican winters aren't Michigan winters, but basically just sit outside all for many, many months until the battery comes in. No, it doesn't make sense because you're making two people really unhappy. So why not give it to an EcoBoost, because you can't put it in the hybrid anyways. So that's the big bombshell that'll be on that video. But it is 8 o'clock and Marie gave me the signal. The boss is telling me we need to go. So I'll see you all on Tim Bartz's show, Long MacArthur, because he has fantastic live, and maybe I'll actually bump into y'all on David and Kelly's show at All Terrain Nation. Take care, and well, I wish you all more cars and more power.
Bye bye.
I think I got it.